それでも言いたいこの僕に何ができるって言うんだ窮屈なへり地に立たされた時不難な僕の腕をつかみ自分自身のありかが初めて見えたんだもっと広いフィールドへもっと深い大きなどこかへ予測もつかない世界へ向かってゆくだけ僕は僕のことが知りたい
Hello and welcome to Mecha Anime Reviews. Today, continuing Gundam month from Stardust Memory, we take a look at Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. While Stardust Memory took place between the original and Zeta, Unicorn takes place after Char's Counterattack, a movie that I heavily despise and consider one of the worst Gundam productions ever made. It was directed by Kazuhiro Furugashi, with character and mecha designs from Yoshikazu Yasuhiko and Hajime Kadoki respectively. An interesting thing about this OVA series is that unlike the other Gundam OVAs, this one was based on a novel written by a fairly popular Japanese writer named Harutoshi Fukui. This is strange given that he's an avowed Japanese imperialist supporter and this is an anti-war story condemning imperialism and greed. Given the amount of references to previous Gundam stories, I can only make the assumption that he must have despised Char's Counterattack just as much as I did and decided that he could write a better send-off to the Universal Century. Does he succeed in this? Well, let's find out. It is the year 0096 of the Universal Century. It has been 3 years since Char Aznable attempted to save the Earth by destroying it with a giant space rock with nukes attached to it. A secret deal is being made between the Vis Foundation and the renegade Neon Zeon forces led by a mysterious masked man named Full Frontal, our resident Char clone for the evening, involving an artifact called Laplace's Bots that's said to contain the power to destroy the Federation if ever opened. Meanwhile, our hero, Banager Lynx, stumbles upon a mysterious girl calling herself Audrey Byrne. Audrey has some kind of connection with the Neo Zeon forces, trying to prevent Laplace's bots from falling into their hands because it might start a war. The negotiations go down, causing the entire colony to be attacked by the Neo Zeons, with Banager Lynx stumbling upon the latest Gundam prototype, known as the Unicorn. Once activated, he defends the colony from the Zeons, but gets captured by the Federation forces. What follows is a complex tale of mystery and intrigue, as everyone is racing to discover what is inside the Laplace's bots. So basically, it's the Da Vinci Code. Gundam style! Sadly, Tom Hanks doesn't play a single character in this series. Shame. The animation is holy fucking shit, that's beautiful! I take back what I said about Stardust Memory's animation. This is movie-level quality animation. It's nothing but visual eye candy with extremely smooth animation, combining CGI and 2D animation to create something wonderful. The music is done by Hiroyuki Sawano, and he does a magnificent soundtrack, sounding grand and majestic but also capable of being subtle and graceful, adding to the mood and tone of the series and giving it a cinematic style. The English dub is done by NYAV Post, and I have to say, this is the best English dub of any Gundam series ever, only War in the Pocket standing slightly above it. All of the characters are perfectly casted in their respective roles, like Stephen Stadley, who already had a role in the 8th Mobile Suit team as a pacifist hero who tries to end conflicts peacefully without anyone dying, as Banager Lynx, a pacifist hero who tries to end conflicts peacefully without anyone dying. Okay, that was mean and harsh, I'm sorry. And Keith Silverstein as Full Frontal. Now, I want to talk about Silverstein for a minute. In TV tropes, there is a term called the other Darren. Basically, it's when an actor is replaced by another actor in the same role. Because Ocean Group mostly does the main shows, while Animaze does the OVAs, we have cases where the same character has an entirely different voice in one dub than in the other.
How is it that we've been able to fight the Federation for so long?
How is it the Duchy of Zeon has fought on until now when our strength is...
I say this because Silverstein is an example of how to do the other Darren correctly. The show is rather ambiguous as to whether Full Frontal actually is Char, but he is supposed to have the voice of Char and has most of his mannerisms. Obviously, Silverstein doesn't entirely mimic Michael Kopsa, but does sound a lot like him, having the same style of voice.
It's too late for lectures. And I believe in the rebirth of a humanity that has come to live here in space.
You mustn't let mistakes weigh you down. Acknowledge them and take what you've learned to move on. That is the privilege of being a man.
So, kudos to Silverstein. The rest of the actors are fantastic. Even the minor characters have good voices.
I don't think that will be necessary.
Of course it is. She's a cyber new type. If she doesn't get her medication, won't she go berserk?
She's a type that was genetically designed from the ground up, so there's no need to suppress her immune response.
But doctor...
Even her emotional state is stable, and besides, her injuries are severe. As a doctor, I can't allow my patient to be put into a straitjacket.
Wait, Kirk Thornton? Again? I mean, he isn't here for very long and disappears after the scene, but why is he here? It's pretty strange. This isn't even an anime-Z production, so what the hell? The entire series is basically one gigantic homage to the entire Gundam franchise, specifically the Universal Century. Many references and callbacks to the original Gundam and the other Universal Century shows occur, with certain mechs and scenes referencing previous shows, and even certain characters and concepts appearing. However, the series also makes it a point to not alienate new viewers, carefully taking the time to explain previous events, and most of the references are very subtle. You probably wouldn't even notice most of them unless you did your homework. This, along with the use of the vast majority of the Gundam tropes, makes Unicorn one of the most accessible Gundam shows in the franchise. However, Unicorn serves as a bit of an epilogue. There are a lot of conversations between characters where they have philosophical discussions about the nature of humanity and war, but unlike in Char's counterattack, they add a lot of depth and nuance to the characters and their development. There is also a reflection on the cycle of revenge that plagues the Universal Century, with the Federation and Zeon's attacks towards each other causing a great deal of harm to both sides. Unlike in the 8th Mobile Suit Team where both sides are villainized, here they are shown to be grey in their own ways. For the first time, I can actually understand and perhaps sympathize with the Zeons, since the OVAs take the time to explain why they have the support they do, and their motivations do make a certain degree of sense, even if ultimately they're still the bad guys. Both sides have committed atrocities towards the other, each having legitimate reasons to hate one another. However, the series stresses that we have to move on from this. If we want to reach our full potential, we must be able to break away from the cycle of revenge and keep walking forward, no matter how painful the path might be. All of this gives the series a sense of closure, feeling like a true finale to the saga, more so than Char's counterattack. The only major problem with the series is that the romances still suck. The show has new types, so obviously we're going to have forced romances. I don't mind Banagher and Audrey since they're both interesting characters in their own way, though Banagher's fixation on her can get a little bit creepy at points. However, they also inserted 2 love triangles that didn't need to happen and just kinda distracted from the plot. We also have a few annoying characters like Angelo, who's basically Mastermeyer Cello from Double Zeta with all of the comedy sucked out of him and replaced with pretentious bullshit, and Ensign Riddy, who, much like Hathaway and Nina before him, started out decently enough but grabbed the idiot ball and had his character root.
No. What have I done?
Wait, what's this?
Let's do this, Banagher. This light isn't only coming from the two of us.
Oh my god! A Gundam character who grabbed the idiot bowl, realizes that what they did was stupid, and attempt to redeem themselves for it? Okay, I take it back. Ensign Riddy, you are officially my favorite character ever. Let's give him a round of applause. Aside from that, there isn't much I can say without spoiling. Gundam Unicorn I would recommend full-heartedly. It's easy and accessible for newcomers while also rewarding older fans who have watched the originals. It also deals with some heavy themes that are still relevant to this day, and it's just plain amazing. It also serves as a satisfying conclusion to the entire saga, having an ambiguous ending where we don't know what will happen next, but have hope for the possibility of a better... Oh, gun damn it. Oh well, see you next time on the next Mecha Anime Reviews, and stay tuned for the continuation of Gundam Month with F91.